his message still stands. You can go. I've seen where they claim to have taken parts out of the New Testament, that the Vatican there's a vault in the Vatican supposedly has whole parts of scriptures that they took out in 325 BC, and this goes back for thousands of years.
I got a friend here in Tucson. His name's Ralph Epperson. Have you ever heard of him?
The name sounds familiar.
He said that, I asked him one day when I was at his house, he's got a book out there called The Unseen Hand. It talks about secret societies and the New World Order stuff. And I asked him, is there any proof what's the proof that Jesus walked on the earth? And he said the Shroud of Turin. But now I have a friend up in Wisconsin that told me that National Geographic was involved in manipulating that. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know anything. I don't know about what their claims are. National Geographic, man's claims about anything. I believe that he was here. And people say, well, Jesus wasn't mentioned in history. Well, it wasn't his real name. Try Yahushua. Try his real name when he was here, his Aramaic name. Jesus was a King James Version translation of his name.
Do you believe that Jesus was part extraterrestrial, part human?
That's what they're going to claim. That's what they're going to claim when they come here. These humanoid angels, they're all going to claim this whole line spiel put out by Zechariah Sitchin, that these reptilians are our creators and that Jesus was half reptilian, half alien. It all goes to the whole Mongolian bloodline thing, this whole Holy Grail thing. It's just all a bunch of, they're trying to make him become one of them so people will accept them, is what it is. They're looking for worldwide acceptance as they're being above us intellectually, or on the ranking chain of created beings, that they're above humans when they're not. It's all a game by them. They want people to accept this Sananda that's coming, claiming he's the Jesus of the Bible when he's actually just one of them. This Maitreya that's coming that the Iranians are waiting for. They're waiting for their Mahdi. They've put out several articles on the internet over the last couple of weeks about how they expect this last Imam, this Mahdi, to arrive at any time. And this is this Maitreya that they're waiting for, Maitreya. I've been talking about him for years on my radio show. I have information on my websites about this coming Maitreya and Sananda. And these aren't ascended masters. They're going to tell you they're ascended masters, but they're just aliens. They're part of the humanoid alien crowd that's deceived the whole New Age movement into thinking they're friendly aliens, that they're gods or ascended masters, and they're going to help mankind ascend. Their only idea of ascension on Earth and cleansing Earth of evil is eliminating 5.5 billion people. Their whole agenda goes back to the same agenda the New World Order has.
Yeah, interesting. Boy, you hear so many different stories out there about this stuff, but it's always nice to get your opinion on it, too.
I've do this whole Nasara crowd and this New Age thing for years, and so I've actually been in heated emails with this Sananda and several of these people involved with this whole thing, and people don't think Satan has an email address. They better think again. It's really kind of amusing because they're very high-tech. They're very high-tech. Al Gore claiming several years ago that he was the one who created the Internet, which everybody's laughed about since, when he claimed to be the creator of the Internet. Basically, the aliens are. We got our technology from the aliens. So you got to think it wasn't Al Gore speaking, but the alien that hosts Al Gore, that possesses him, because he's a whole part of this alien agenda that's coming, and his whole global warming thing, it all just ties into their agenda. Because if you're not looking at an outright New World Order, the Bush and Skull and Bones and secret societies, you turn around, you've got the New Age alien agenda.
Al Gore recently come out with this movie called An Inconvenient Truth. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on global warming?
Well, I think it's hogwash. If we were having global warming, the snow would be melting from the top down, not the bottom up.
Yeah.
The Earth is heating up, is what's happening. The Lord told me this years ago, and that the Earth itself is heating up. And so that's, I found it interesting. There was an article, I just skimmed it the other day on the Internet, talking about where they just found vents on the bottom of the ocean floor. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because, the water's heating up. The water heating up is what's going to kill the fish, the sea life. And so a lot of these things also in reaction to solar bursts on the sun, people claiming, oh, it's from the sun. I think the sun reacts to what's going on the Earth itself, and that's why we're getting increased solar flares on the sun, because of the reaction it has from the Earth.
Do you think the reason a lot of these bees are disappearing is because they're being blinded by the ultraviolet light coming into the earth from the sun?
I don't believe that, because they would show up somewhere. You would have a whole herd of blinded bees somewhere. They're just disappearing.
That's what Major Ed Dame said on the Coast to Coast show, that they're being blinded because of the ultraviolet.
Well, that's what I think Jim McCanney or somebody had said too. And the thing is, okay, where are they? If somebody would be running into a whole herd of bees chasing them down the road by now, because there's millions of bees disappearing. I don't think they're lost. I think they're just gone. I think they're gone. I think probably alien ships coming with tubes or tubes, some kind of hoses taking them. I don't know. But, if these bees were lost, they'd be found by now. Somebody would see them. The part of being, nobody has found a body. No one has found clumps of bees laying anywhere. So they're not just inhaling or breathing poison and dropping over dead.
You don't think it's a rapture of the bees?
Well, there you go, but a UFO rapture.
Yeah.
I think they're the ones behind it. As crazy as it might sound, I really can't, that's just what I think. I think they're behind it.
Uh-huh. Well,
I just think if they were lost, they'd show up somewhere. They'd be in Canada or somewhere. We'd all of a sudden hear of an influx of bees in some other country because they totally overflew America or something.
what are your thoughts on these ETs that are here monitoring our underground nuclear weapon facilities?
Well, they've been doing that for years. I mean, they've had photos of UFOs over military installations, over cities, over weapons installations. One of the things that they do is intelligence gathering. Satan is not omniscient or omnipresent. He can't be everywhere at one time. He doesn't know everything at one time. And they keep very tabs and detailed databases on everything that every country in the world is doing. And so they know. They're afraid to death. It sounds, I don't know how you want to say it, methodical, whatever, but they're afraid to death to die. And so they don't want weapons here. They're already dead beings. I mean, their time is coming, and they know that. Their time is up sooner or later. But they don't want to die. They don't want to destroy Earth because they want to inhabit Earth. And so there's nothing to inhabit if mankind destroys it with nuclear weapons. They just want to get rid of all the humans.
Well, it's an interesting take on it, because you hear these guests on these shows that say that these ETs have been monitoring our nuclear, like underground ICBMs, because they don't want us to kill ourselves.
They don't care if we kill ourselves. They don't want us damaging Earth.
But why did
plagues are from them.
Why all of a sudden they start showing up in mass in the 1940s, right when we were starting our nuclear weapons programs?
Well, we started cutting treaties with them in the 1930s. 1933, the first year that New World Order in Latin was prescribed on our dollar bills, is also the same year Franklin Roosevelt signed the first treaty with these aliens. We came in contact with them. We started making treaties with them, and they were become more and more known here on Earth. In the last days, they're going to be here in much bigger numbers, and you're going to be able to see them because the veil between the fourth and third dimensions is going to be lifted, and everything in the fourth dimension is going to become physically visible here on Earth. You're going to be able to see them. And this is the kind of the tribulation period that the Bible speaks of. As much time and as energy as people try to deny anything that the Bible says, everything it says is coming true.
Wow. There's a guy up in Phoenix, Arizona. His name is Jeff Woolwine. He says that a lot of the ships that are being seen around Phoenix right now are negatively oriented beings in these craft, and there's these petroglyphs on the side of the mountains up there and that prove what he's saying. Have you heard about that?
I haven't heard about it. I haven't heard about that per se. I know I've heard of the Phoenix Lights, where they've had the UFO phenomena out there with the light shows. Salt Lake City is pretty much going to be they're trying to make Salt Lake City their home base here in America. That's above the earth, because they have so many underground bases here already. They pretty much control Area 51 in Nevada. They pretty much control Dulce in New Mexico, Taos, New Mexico, Los Alamos in New Mexico, pretty much any kind of how do you pronounce it? Tehachapi Mountains in California. I don't know how you say that.
Yeah, Tehachapi. Yeah.
Tehachapi.
Tehachapi.
Yeah, they have a huge underground base in those mountains. Mount Shasta